Hey friend, Brannon Shortt here with day 28 of our Hope Scrolling devotion. You know, as I study history, especially the history of the church, I find that every era and cultural moment, every generation of people are asking questions. Now, some of those questions are unique to certain context and moments and people groups, and yet there are other questions that actually transcend time and context. As we study, again, the history of the church, we see that though different situations provoke a certain question, every single era is asking some iteration of this question. Given the state of the world, what are we to do? What are we as believers to do in a world right now, in our moment, that can feel very dark and full of despair? In a moment where our country is divided and hurting, we live in communities that are considered good, and yet we can still so clearly see their problems, where people around me, likely around you as well, are confused and hurting. People are skeptical and cynical, not to mention they're immeasurably busier than people have ever been in the history of mankind. And to be honest, there was a time where it may have at least seemed that people were concerned with the idea and the things of faith. It just doesn't seem to be as important anymore. It's as though the message of Jesus maybe even has been so twisted and abused that we question, will we ever gain an audience for such good news again? As a follower of Jesus, friend, in our cultural moment, though we believe the good news of Jesus is where life is found, it is so often drowned out in all the other noise from all the other things. So as we ask that age-old question, what are we to do in a moment like this? I'm reminded of Jesus' words in Matthew 5, verse 14. He says, "You are the light of the world, a town or a city built on a hill that cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on a stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." You see, the church and the people of God are meant to be the kingdom alternative shining out into the world. We're reminded when we ask this age-old question of this age-old answer, that what do we do in a moment like this? The answer is we live differently. We shine out into the world. We shine out, not merely blend in. We are those whose different beliefs, different than the rest of the world maybe, produce different values, and those beliefs and values then produce different behaviors. Because not only, friends, is the way of Jesus the greatest way for us to personally live, the way of Jesus is the way for greatest impact in our world.